whistleblowing policy in Nigeria, launched on the 21st of December 2016, was losing momentum, hence the need for adjustment. The federal government has approved a new whistleblower draft bill. The Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said the Federal Executive Council approved the draft bill to strengthen the fight against corruption and protect whistleblowers that provide helpful information to the government. Leko, what do you make of this bill, knowing that it was being fashioned to fight against corruption and perhaps protect whistleblowers that provide information to the federal government? What do you make of this?
Well, I went to find out why. And then they said, well, I think the idea is that people want more protection. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what this is about. And then they now said that they want it to conform to what you call the Evidence Act. And then I'm not a lawyer, so I went to find out what do they mean by that, Meaning that there has to be, I guess the law hasn't been, I read through it, I'm not a lawyer, doesn't have enough punch, and it does not completely protect the anonymity of whoever is the whistleblower. And I think that is essential. It's just, for me, it's just a housekeeping thing that they are trying to do. I don't think it's a big deal.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a housekeeping, just to be sure that those who who are protected from people knowing who they are, so there will be no reprisals. Two, so that also the 2.5% to 5% compensation or whatever it is that they're going to get is guaranteed, and they get it.
Right.
And then nobody's going to put them into any undue
harm's way.
Harm's way. I think that's essentially what it's all about.
But particularly,
and also that whatever, the law is an interesting law. It says, even if you and I steal and I come and snitch on you, both of us are going in for it. Not that because I came to talk, then no, I'm not. We will both sing and
in the same ship.
Yes, and I think I get that, so, and then information that the government already has or can have, if you tell them you haven't helped. So don't play games with us. And I get all that, and I respect that. And don't forget, within a short period, when that law was pronounced in 2016, that was when that Ikoyi thing happened. $43 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Which means there are some people in this country who are, yes, for gains, but they are also prepared to cooperate with the government.
Right.
Now that the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning says people got some kind of fatigue, maybe they didn't feel protected, number one, and then two, they didn't see results. You go and report, and then they do back and forth, and then suddenly you don't hear anything. So people got tired. I think this is just a way of bringing Philip to a shot in the arm to the process of getting the whistleblower project on the go
run
again. Yes.
Yeah. So, but particularly, it is one thing to recover these funds, but it's another issue to ensure that they are properly utilized for the purpose which is supposed to be anyway. But what strategic measures would you suggest that needs to be adopted if we are to ensure that, okay, these monies, they've been found, they've been recovered, but these monies are used for specific purposes, particularly for the people?
Well, when you have a system where you run on cash, it is easy to do every dubious thing you want to do. If you try cashless economy, everybody's footprints can be traced. You see the opposition, they are mounting against the CBN new directive. In every country, the elite set the tone, the direction. This is what we want our country to go. But in Nigeria, that's what I call the elite conspiracy. They and their interest alone. They don't care about anything that affects their interest. You won't see them make concession, sacrifice, or whatever about Nigeria. No, they only want what benefits them. And in this fight against corruption, who are the ones involved? The high and the mighty. You and I don't have any billions anywhere, or your millions. Where will you have it? So they are the ones that can stash, billions away in their own strong rooms. Some drew something like a pit where they keep money.
Or even in
Some
farms.
and you will wonder that, are we lunatics in Nigeria? The other time, the day CBN announced, you saw what happened. People were bringing money with a wrapper of Oceanic Bank, Savannah Bank, all those banks that had died or killed many, many years ago. And you say, are we really normal? It means you must have collected this money 10, 15, 20 years ago, thereabout, and you kept them. Money that should be
circulation.
Used. So now, coming back to this issue, I blame the government for everything. The government shows clearly that it is not interested in fighting corruption. It's just lip service.
So if that's the case, how can we tackle this problem?
How can we tackle this problem? There are several things. One of them is the one I just said. If you decide to go cashless, there is no way you will do what. Okay, look at the humongous, amount you hear, Ikoyi apartment, the ones they drop in airports, the one you see in bus stops, and all this order that you've had. Somebody owned those monies, but eventually they will say, oh, this, what manner of country is that? So now, when you now take it back to whistleblowing, when it started, people were happy. They thought the government was interested in fighting corruption. But some elements, one key element of it is you must create a trust environment.
Right. For
people to key into that initiative. There must be transparency and sincerity. Those things were lacking. You get my point? You saw many people that went to court that when they did so whistleblowing, they didn't give them money. The Ikoyi gate, or how do we call that one? You call it Ikoyi gate. The same government that introduced whistleblowing branded the whistleblower as mentally unstable. Yeah. You forgot the story? And you know what it took to get part of that compensation. So when you are ready to fight corruption, you go the whole hog. It's not going to be a lip service thing. That's the picture I've seen. So if they want to fight corruption and you want to reintroduce this, you need to put in place too many things. One of them is you have to show that truly you are committed to this. Two, there must be very sound trust environment.
Right.
Without trust, then people must be protected. Look at what happened with many people complaining about EFCC and many other ones. So how are you going to safeguard my, identity? Somebody had to go to court over this matter, and by going to court, his identity was eventually revealed.
All right.
That's not whistleblowing. That has become something else.
Let me hold your thoughts. I have a call from London. Taiwo, please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Madam and gentlemen, well done for the good program. Talking about whistleblowing, do we not really need
Oh dear.
writing? I believe the only solution, like you asked, what is solution is sincere.
Okay, it seems we're having a bit of... We can barely make out a sentence of what you're saying, Taiwo, but I think we understand part of what you said. If you can still go ahead, perhaps you can take a few of what you're trying to say.
My point is, we have a man who takes 2 billion rands into his property.
Okay.
It was all there. Everyone could see it. not arrest this man.
Welcome back. It's still on to Journalist Hangout, and we're still discussing the whistleblower policy in Nigeria. That we're seeing the draft Federal Executive Council approving the draft bill to strengthen the fight against corruption. So, Lekon, before we quickly move on to our next issue of discussion, what are your thoughts on, or what do you think are the measures the government needs to do to ensure it eradicates corruption, where this whistleblower policy is, let's say the bill is made to do at the first place? What other measures do you think the government needs to do to effectively eradicate corruption from our system?
We don't need to reinvent the wheel. First, ensure that there is a law backing this policy.
Right.
And that is the route that they are taking now. Laudable. 1. 2 is also that even though you may have the letters of the law, those who are running the law, lawyers, they understand the inside of law. They know the loopholes and all that. They can play all the games. Sometimes it comes to my head that those who drafted that thing, that it became so weak, probably deliberately did that so that it won't have the punch that it's supposed to have. I was in a conversation with a lawyer who died early this year, and she told me that lawyers in the civil service will go to court deliberately unprepared to lose a case because it will favor somebody. How do you explain that? So we have to be sure that, just as he has said, there has to be trust. We have to be sure that there's going to be an enforcement of the law.
Right.
And then who is going to, is it EFCC that is going to prosecute, or is it the regular police that is going to prosecute somebody who does this? We need to have a very clear idea, and then there has to be consequences. Yes, a whistleblower blows the whistle and they catch the person. It's not enough to just collect the money. What happened after they collect how many $1 million? What happened to whoever?
The money.
They came with an explanation, and that was the end of it.
And don't forget this. When government, to me, is something that is too late in the life of this administration. Since 2016,
the twilight of its administration.
You have been able to put this into a law. The last time a senator tried this in 2019, I think that senator is late now.
Yeah.
This whistleblowing thing didn't pass through.
Second reading.
It was only, at first reading.
So
now,
so
the possibility of this scaling through is very nil.
When everybody is busy with election, re-election, and things around politics, now you are bringing this. I believe it's lost. I don't think anything meaningful can be achieved in this. I'm too sure about that. I know we'll discuss it again, because when you look at the remaining time in the life of this administration, just to get something busy, because look at it very well. What did we achieve with all these ones we've done? The bureaucracy around it, how do you going to solve it? You said you are doing single treasury accounts, or virtually, there are many agencies of government that have extra accounts. And when people do whistleblowing, the government will come out to say we are aware. Then what is the essence of single treasury account?
Indeed.
Then you are talking about whistleblowing, then talking about fighting corruption. All those things don't add up, I believe.